Let's do this all over again. I don't know why I'm laughing. I have no idea why.
At least now we're smiling because I wasn't earlier.
Yes, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello and welcome to the third episode of Egyibberish season 2.
You started too early. You'd start at the top before I clapped. You need to give it a minute.
Hello and welcome to the third episode of Egyibberish season 2. And as we promised, we came with another guest.
Hello.
Hi, Ghada. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Actually, I'm good. She's a friend of the show. She's not her first time to be
She's
on.
not. Ghada was
camera.
behind the camera and behind the scenes in season 1, episode 5 or 6.
Q&As.
The Q&A session.
Yeah, we'll put the
that's
link
right,
for you so you can check it out. So she was the voice behind the camera. And then we have another episode where you were in the intro and the end of the video.
That was a fun one.
Exactly. So we had a lot of people actually asking about you and who you are and stuff like that. So we decided to get you on the camera, in front of the camera, so people can get to know you more.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for the invite.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
sure.
And it's nice to see you all dressed up in my house. Normally, I see you waking up on a morning when you've slept over and I'm making you eggs and we're like, so you're here all dressed up and nice.
Yeah.
nice.
I didn't sleep over this time and I didn't wake up looking like a witch.
No,
Yeah. she did. No,
you
she
just
didn't.
walked in looking like a witch. Only joking.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start it off. Tell us a bit about you. Like, tell us who you are and what you're doing in Dubai and stuff like that. Like, let people know you. So this is actually your camera. This is your camera, or this is your camera. You can address whatever you want. So go for it.
You have all of the cameras.
Yeah, you can address this one if you want.
All right.
Yeah.
What should I start with? My name is Ghada. I come from Tunisia, which is a small country in North Africa, for those who don't know. I've been living in Dubai since 2014. We met in our first job. We were working both for an airline.
Yeah.
Did you meet when you were with
He was familiar.
I think
And
I
the
you-
think-
airline?
Yeah, I think
We've
we
flown
met
together, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
really?
we've flown together, but like because when I saw her for the first time, I was like, she looks familiar, but like we didn't talk. I don't think like we got to talk. But
Oh, no way.
yeah, she looks.
We-
I
familiar.
thought you'd met at the job in Dubai Mall.
no.
No.
Mall of the Emirates, sorry.
No.
That's when we officially became friends.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Right
We learned
after,
something new.
right after he called me vile.
We will tell that story later. So yeah, we will tell you the whole story about the first time we met. So yeah, it was interesting.
Very.
yeah.
So I was flying for 9 years.
Mhm.
And
Wow.
yeah.
So you're a cabin crew.
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Do you think she might have been the pilot?
I mean,
Don't downgrade this lady. She could have been the pilot. Why assume she was cabin crew?
Because
She
he
wasn't a
was.
pilot.
she was the cabin crew because I was a cabin crew with her in the same company. So yeah. Okay.
And I then switched jobs.
Mhm.
And that's when I started working with Barry and some a retail brand. And then I switched to another brand I've been there for 2 years now. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
So what made you come to Dubai? Like 9 years ago was a long time ago,
So
right?
Yeah.
it was a funny story actually,
Go on then, tell
because
us.
my university had 2 buildings, like they're 10 minutes walk from each other. So in the
Mhm.
morning, we do have the morning classes in one part of the building, and then the afternoon classes, we have to walk to the other side, to
Okay.
the other building. And during that walk, there is a school where they actually give you a diploma to become a flight attendant, because unlike Emirates, for example, Tunisian Airlines, I said Emirates, is that okay?
That's
all
okay.
right.
That's
You
fine.
say the brand. It's
Yeah.
all right, yeah.
It's okay.
I thought you didn't want to say the brand.
I didn't want to, they're not paying me.
It's okay.
Okay, we've established you were working for Emirates.
For
it's fine.
Emirates,
Yeah.
both of us.
This is not the BBC.
Maybe it will be.
Who
Um,
knows?
Yeah.
Any sponsors on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And basically, we have a school where, like as I said, Tunisian Airlines, you cannot just do a training with them and start flying. You actually
Mhm.
need a flight attendant diploma.
Right.
And that same school, Emirates uses for the recruitment process. So they do the pre-selection using that school.
Right.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and then I was going from the morning classes to the afternoon ones, and I was passing by, and there was this massive queue of people wearing business attires. They all looked amazing with a red lipstick lipstick, hair in a bun, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what is this? Like, I asked a friend, I'm like, what's going on, She told me, Emirates Airlines is hiring.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what Emirates Airlines was. I never heard of it. So I thought, who's Emirates Airline?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't when I applied
I
as well.
swear, I didn't know.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Because we in Tunisia we watch mostly like French TV, so
Yeah.
I know mostly European
Air
airlines.
France.
Ryanair, for
Ryanair.
example.
EasyJet.
But we don't really watch anything about the Middle East that much, to be
Yeah.
honest. So my friend said it's Emirates. She showed me pictures of her friend who was already working there, and it stayed in my mind, So when I went home, I told my mom, and I knew that they were coming the next week for another assessment. And my mom, she was like, why not? Just try. She thought that I was going to fail, to be honest.
Okay.
No.
And from one step to another, I got the job, and reality kicked in. I'm like,
Wow.
I was hired, and we had to tell my dad, which was a shock. We had to prepare him. And then I ended up taking the plane for the first time in my life to become a flight attendant.
Ghada, that's
What?
exactly the same thing that happened with me.
No way.
I
Yeah.
promise you, the first time I came from Egypt to Dubai was my first time on a plane to be a cabin crew.
Imagine if we were nervous flyers.
I know.
Imagine
Or
having
like
a panic attack.
claustrophobic or something like that. Like,
My friend, she used to work for Jet2 in Europe, and what happened when she first started flying was that there was a girl who was brand new. And I think she'd been the same. Like, there was some kind of like, on the very first flight that she had, there was some kind of issue with the plane. I think there was an engine
Oh my God.
failure, or it got hit by a bird or something. And she actually ran down the whole of the middle eye going, oh my God, we're going to die. The plane's going to crash. We're going to die.
Oh my God.
She literally had one flight, and that was it.
And that was it.
Did you know what happened on my first flight?
No.
Do we want to know?
You don't know?
I think you told me,
I
but I can't
survived the
remember.
terrorist attack. That was my first flight
Oh
ever.
no, you've never told me that.
Yeah.
Like the
Karachi in
what is
Pakistan.
it? What do we call it? The Snoopy. We have a name for it.
Soupy flight.
Soupy fly. Yeah.
It was my first Soupy flight.
Really? Okay.
You didn't know?
No. What happened?
I remember it as if it was yesterday. So I finished my training. It was 8th of June, 2014.
Okay.
Normally when we fly to places that are not far away, I mean, Karachi was just an hour and a half or like 2 hours. We do a
Yeah.
turnaround. So we don't really exit the plane.
Yeah.
Passengers disembark. We clean the plane. We board new passengers, and then
Can you hear the dogs?
So we have, yeah.
The dogs are literally going mad outside. Be quiet!
and they literally never bark.
They don't.
I know,
They
yeah.
never bark. You come here, you're like...
That's it. It's the energy, the madness in the room.
Yeah, it's the madness within her. Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah, basically, we were on the runway. We were taking off back to Dubai, and
Mhm.
when you do your soupy flight, you're actually sitting in the flight deck with the pilots
Yeah.
because you
Right.
don't actually, you cannot have a door because you're still kind of like need to pass these 2 flights. You have a checklist
Yeah.
for you to be able to have a door.
Sure.
So I was sat in the flight deck, and when you're sat in the flight deck, you basically hear all the other radios and planes talking, so the ATC.
Yeah.
And we can hear fire, shooting, explosions. And I was like, oh my God, this must be a joke.
What?
Like, are they pranking me? Because we used to have pranks.
Yes. Oh.
On your soupy flight, they used to have
Yes.
pranks. Like, they would give you beer and tell you the captain requested this. And I was like, is it one of those? Like,
Yeah.
and no, it wasn't a joke. The Taliban attacked the airport of
Oh my
Karachi.
God.
Yeah. And unfortunately, 28 people passed away, but I survived. We stayed 7 hours in the plane with the passengers inside. We could see the fire from the windows. People were panicking. They were watching the news. And then after
No
7
way.
hours, yeah. And after 7 hours, we disembarked and we stayed in the airport for 24 hours because all the flights were cancelled. And when it was safe to come back, we went back to Dubai.
Oh, that's
Wow.
unbelievable.
You kept that story like out of our friendship for like the past 3
Yeah.
years.
Really?
Yeah, you've never told us that
can't
before.
believe
That's
I never
shocking.
told you
I
that.
don't know this one as well.
That is going to make a great TikTok.
Exactly. Yeah, that is gonna be a great TikTok reel. That.
Wow.
I got a certificate for that flight because I was
Really?
recognized for being courageous.
Oh, look at you!
Nice.
Look at you! Well, to be very honest with you, nothing that interesting ever happened on my flight. But we had few incidents here and there. But that
That was
extreme.
That was a bit traumatic,
extreme.
but I think I didn't comprehend what was going on.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
What is wrong with?
I don't know. I'm
Colin?
going to have to go and see what's wrong with them. There we go. Okay.
Okay, so that was a really interesting story. And yeah, as John said, I'm really shocked that you've never told us, like in our friendship, like this is the first time for me to hear something
I'm-
like that.
Yeah.
I'm full of surprises.
I can tell, I can tell. Well, let me tell you, since we are on this topic, let me tell you how me and Ghada met for the first time. So we both applied for this. Actually, I didn't apply for this job. If you remember, they got in touch with me on LinkedIn and they told me about like this luxury Armenian brand that is opening in Dubai and this and that. And they actually contacted me to be a store manager. However, as honest as I am, I told them, listen, I've never worked as a store manager. I have a managerial experience, but I've never worked as a store manager. So I told her, listen, I don't have a store managing experience. So why don't I just start with you like as maybe an advisor? And after 6 months, we can take it from there. I know. What
Big mistake.
It was a huge mistake. Anyways.
Fake it till you make it.
So I go do the interview and then we meet on the first day of training.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, after a few hours in the training, we got a break and then we went all out like to grab a coffee or something. And then Ghada was sat there with another friend of ours. Her name is Asma.
Asma.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
were sat with Asma outside. And there was like a lot of other people working with us, like that we were going to work together. And you were talking, what were you talking about that made me tell you that? Like,
Probably some inappropriate subject.
yeah, like her and Asma were like full on, you know, like they were like this and that and like going on in a conversation.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I just looked at her and I was like, you're vile.
That's the first thing he ever said to me.
Literally the first word ever.
Good way to make friends.
Since then we became
And
best
since
friends.
then we became best friends.
I mean, you do, don't you? You know,
Yeah. I was like, you're vile.
Do you remember one time we were leaving the training? I think it was the second day or maybe even the first day. I don't remember exactly.
Okay.
But we were both walking in the parking towards the car. And you told me, where are you going? I said, I'm going to go home. What about you? He's like, I'm going to go
to John's,
to John's
yes.
karaoke.
Yeah.
Not karaoke, sorry.
karaoke.
I'm sorry.
How dare you?
Sure.
You're good at karaoke.
Yeah, but I had a
Don't get
full-on-
paid for
No, he
karaoke
had-
though.
He had a full-on show that
I am
day,
so sorry. He had a gig and it was amazing. So
Thank you.
Barry looked at me
Yeah.
and was like, do you want to come? I don't think he expected me to say yes. And I was like, yeah.
So true. I did not expect you to say yes.
He's
but-
like, okay, then follow me. So I followed him and boom. Since then, we've
Yeah.
been going to his gigs. We went a few times and then we brought Asma with us. and
Yeah.
then-
We
Do you
love
remember
Asma.
which your best gig that we've been to? I know one. The craziest one.
The only
Which
one
one?
that sticks in my mind was New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
Everyone
exactly.
started fighting.
No one was fighting.
No one.
Yeah, there was.
No, I mean from us. We
There was two-
weren't.
Oh no, we
fighting.
weren't fighting, but there was
Yeah.
other people fighting. Because you
Yeah.
can't have a New Year's Eve without a good scrap, right?
Oh my god, yeah.
But who were
So-
they fighting over?
You. And one of them was married.
No, he was
he had a
not.
girlfriend. He had a girlfriend.
Well,
yeah.
you know, girlfriend, wife. What does it
Yeah.
matter? We're in the Middle East.
So yeah, so he got a girlfriend, and then he saw Ghada, and he was like, okay, started flirting with her. She noticed, and then like a huge fight happened there. But do you remember what happened before that? Us running to catch the fireworks in Burj Khalifa.
My God.
When we went to all the way to Andrew's
Yeah.
house, and the top floor was closed, so we had to go all the way down running.
Do you remember me removing my heels and running barefoot in the street?
Yes. It was a crazy night. That was a good night. That was a good night.
It was.
Okay, so actually, I want to go back with you more about like more questions because, to be honest with you, the main the main reason for us having guests was actually to ask them about like their lives in Dubai and what made them come here and all these things. So you said actually that the reason that made you come here was basically that you came across this cabin crew by coincidence.
Yeah.
So you never actually thought about moving to Dubai before that.
No, it's just really happened.
Okay.
What did you
And-
think of Dubai before you came here? Because like as a Brit, we have like a lot of preconceived ideas about what Dubai is. Like it's super strict. You can't do this. You can't do that. Blah blah blah. Loads of people are like, I would never go there. It's just malls and sand dunes. Like what's coming from North Africa? Like what's your kind of perception of Dubai? And so when before, because it was never a choice for me to come here. I wanted to move to Australia as a teacher or something, you know. So Dubai for me was just like, I'll just give it a go, see what happens. But it wasn't anywhere that I had a real desire to go, you know.
To
What
be
about
honest,
you?
yeah. To be honest with you, like back then, and I think maybe even still now, they never had a good perception of Dubai when it comes to you moving there as a girl, as an Arab Muslim girl going to move there by yourself. And I moved here when I was 21, which is maybe you're a full-grown adult in the UK when you're 21, but where we're from, you're still mama's girl. You're, so everybody was worried. They were giving me like advice, be careful.
I had that as well. Yeah.
Literally, you need to be careful. You need to be careful who you hang out with. You need to be careful who you sit with. And like, when I think when I first started flying, and the first time I went back home, I was hearing so many rumors about me. Like, this sheikh bought me a house and a Range Rover.
Well, that would have been nice.
I know. I was like, I wish I was living in the Emirates accommodation, taking the bus.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was so many rumors because for them, any girl that moves here moves for one reason, which is to find a habibi who will spend money on her. But strong, independent women like me still exist.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay, so now that you came here to Dubai and you've lived obviously for that long time, like it's
11 years.
11 years now, right? Oh my God,
Wow.
yeah. So, would you say that this is a good move? Would you, if you go back in time, would you still do this move, or like do you like that you came to Dubai? Like, yeah.
I
Share
believe
with
the
us.
way it happened was like, felt like it was meant to be because of how quick and how easy the whole process was and how actually I discovered about the assessment. It felt like the universe sent me something. So if I had the option to go back in time, I would never change anything. I would keep it just as it is. Do I want to stay here? Maybe not. I would like to move on maybe to another place in the future, not now. He's still stuck with me. But
where would you go? And why?
Two options. Either Bali or Thailand. So
that's quite the same. That's not two options. That's the same
one
option. Exactly. Bali or Thailand is
There
the
is
same
a second
vibe.
option.
Okay.
So either Bali or Thailand, that's one option. Asian food, relaxed lifestyle.
Yeah.
Cheap lifestyle.
Yeah, and I need the funds for that, obviously.
Exactly, yeah.
Or a Mediterranean country like Spain, Portugal, Greece, maybe Italy, because I like
Alexandria,
the food.
Egypt.
Not really. Then I go back to Tunis and Khalas.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
No, I never thought I was fitting into our culture, to be honest. I've always been different.
I can relate.
Yeah, so it's hard for me to leave,
Yeah.
to go back and move there after 11 years. No.
I know.
There was a saying that I saw on the internet the other day. I don't know whether you told me or not. And it's when you go home, everything seems smaller.
Yeah.
And
we were just
I think
talking
it's
about
true. Like, especially when it comes to Dubai, because everything literally is so huge and massive anyway. It's always the biggest this
the
or the tallest that or the, you know.
The
but
widest
even,
is.
Yeah. But even without coming to Dubai, like no matter where I went, when I went home, I always felt like so out of place again. You know, like I didn't belong here anymore. Like it's weird. Your family make it home, your family and your friends, but the actual physicality of being there is like, you feel like you're an alien almost, you know?
Not really for me. I love going home, and whenever I go home, I don't want to come back.
Oh, really?
That's one thing about Tunisia. The vibe, the people, the food, the friends, the nightlife, the beach, everything like makes you want to stay. It has a feeling like the country has really a soul, you know?
Yeah.
And I still even haven't discovered the whole country. Like I'm 33 years old soon, and I don't know some parts of my own country, which I'm looking forward to discover.
Yeah.
But once I come back here, I miss it.
Yeah.
But I also still cannot see myself moving there. Like here, you have everything delivered. You don't have to go in queue to pay bills. You don't have to you can do anything from your phone.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I struggle with when I go home.
That's what you say about Egypt as well. Life is so much easier here.
Yeah.
I mean, even think with the UK, like there's a lot of stuff that you can do online, but nothing is ever this easy. And
it's
like
very
literally
convenient.
every part of your life is just so easy. You know?
And
that's what a lot of people say as well.
Yeah, and everything here is basically solved in 28 to 48 hours. Any complaints, concerns, anything, any request you make. But imagine me making a request to a bank back home for a paperwork or even like here from the app, you can check your not pay slips. How do you call them? Statements.
Statements, yes.
No, there you cannot.
Yeah.
We don't have apps.
Oh,
And
really?
Yeah.
basically, you have to go and make a request, and they have to prepare it, and probably will take a week or so.
Oh.
Do you want to hear a funny story?
Yes, please.
My dad couldn't get his IBAN from his app. He had to go to the actual bank to request his IBAN.
Wow,
That's how ridiculous it is.
that's.
I mean,
I mean,
Right.
Egypt is a bit mad when it comes to red tape and bureaucracy, isn't it? It's like
It's just it's just like no, but it's also very behind in a lot of things. Like it's just the life there is not that advanced. Like I mean, I'm saying that, but I'm comparing it to Dubai, like which is not fair really. But if you're gonna compare it to other African countries, like yeah, it is advanced, of course, compared to other. But like to me now, it's just so inconvenient to live in this place because like I've seen how easy life can be, so it's just harder for me to go back to this.
See, I don't think England's that hard to live in. Like if you want to pay your bills and stuff like and see statements on your bank, like everything is pretty at your fingertips.
Yeah, like
you know?
it's
Yeah, there is
But
something.
Dubai's just extra.
Yeah, there is something strange about North African countries. We have a
Mm.
few rules when it comes to taking the money out of the country. Like
Yeah.
when I go to Tunisia and let's say and I exchange money and I will have dinars with me, Tunisian dinars, I cannot take them out of the country.
It's a closed currency.
Yeah. So
oh,
if
really?
you too,
No, I can take my money out. It's fine.
if they cut you
No, I mean like you're talking about like me traveling with Egyptian money?
traveling out of Egypt with
Egyptian
money.
Yeah, we can.
No,
we
for
can.
us, it's not allowed.
No, we can. You came back with Egyptian money. I came back with Egyptian money.
Yeah, but we're
But
talking.
I mean, like we're talking about like literally
£100 or something.
Yeah, £100, which is what
Like
10
Like-
dirhams.
Yeah.
for example, Western Union
Yeah.
and back home, they can only receive money; they cannot send.
Mm.
Oh, actually, it's the same for us. You can only send from Western Union if you only use dollars. But the thing is that you as Egyptian can't buy dollars from banks. So like it's just impossible for you to use Western Union to send money out. So
That's what I'm saying. So you
It's
actually
insane.
have exactly the same
yeah,
rules.
yeah.
So you cannot take out the money of the country. You can bring in
Mm.
money, but
Yeah.
you cannot take money out of the
How
country.
interesting.
Yeah,
I would ask you why that is, but I don't think any of us know, right?
exactly.
don't know.
No. Politics.
Yeah, something like that. But it's also like just being able to, I don't know, you want a PS5 and you can order it from noon and it comes within 12 minutes. Like
15.
if I wanted well, we literally live around the corner
Yeah.
from a noon distribution center and
Yeah.
it says like 9 minutes, but it comes in 5.
Yeah.
Like you can order anything. I order a mobile phone and it will literally be here in 5 minutes at 11
Yeah.
o'clock at night. Like it's just crazy. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so that is a plus about living here. Is
Yeah.
there anything that you, over the past couple of years, you would think, would make you move back to Tunisia? Is there anything that you've kind of thought, I just miss home that much that it would take me away from Dubai?
I think if I had the funds to invest in my country, I would. That would be the only reason why I would move, like to buy a house and to have my own business.
Yeah.
Because I would want to invest in my own country rather than someone else's.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No.
It's weird, isn't it? Because I think the UAE is one of the only countries that I'm aware of. Maybe there's many countries out there. I'm sure there is, but where you can't get citizenship. So even like Australia or New Zealand or Canada or America, all these big countries that people visit, you stay there for a long period of time, you get a green card, you get residency, and then you finally get a passport. But the UAE is extremely protective, over its citizenship and who was allowed to be, Emirati. I think even if you're the
If you're
sons
born
or
to-
daughters of Emiratis, just
A woman, if you're an Emirati
A
woman,
woman,
you're not. I don't think you get it. I think it's only if you're
The dad.
a son of an Emirati dad, then you get it.
right.
But other than that, I think
But-
Egypt is the same, by the way.
But you can also get the citizenship if you do something extraordinary, but it comes straight
No,
away.
this is thin. This is the
The
golden,
golden
visa.
No.
Citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of that. I've heard about the golden visa if you do like a massive contribution to the country.
But
like
golden
in-
visas are being handed out quite a
Now,
lot
yeah.
now.
Now,
to be
yeah.
quite honest
Even-
with you.
Now,
yeah.
yeah.
Even if you buy a 2 mil house, you can get the golden visa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I was looking online. There's a company that do social media golden visas, and if you're like an influencer or anything like that, you can actually apply
Yeah.
for a golden visa for that.
Yeah.
So
There
maybe
is a
we-
lot. There is a lot of influencers from TikTok. They have the golden visa as well.
Yeah, maybe we're missing a trick.
hopefully one day, if you guys support, follow, share, subscribe, and comment on our videos, then maybe we will get the golden visa one day and we'll be able to invite you over as a guest. Maybe.
Nah.
I would go for the money. If I win the lottery, I will buy a 2
Oh my
million
God,
house
Ghada,
to get the golden-
you know how long have you been saying that? You've been telling me that since we met, and you've always told me that you will give me $1 million.
What does I said about me? It says that I'm hopeful and positive.
Yes.
I'm manifesting.
Okay, so I actually do have a question that a lot of people asked.
Sorry.
It's also about like you coming to Dubai. You came here by yourself. You didn't have family. You didn't have friends. You know, like you started over a completely new life, and this could be scary to a lot of people. I'm one of them. You know, like when I moved here for the first time, I was just, you know, like I could not believe that I'm in a different country. Like it took me maybe few weeks so you know, like to understand what's going on, but of course in each person has his own journey and there's this and that. So I wanted to ask you actually about the challenges when you moved here to Dubai. What was the challenges that you faced, and how did you overcome that? Because there is a lot of people that, you know, like this is their main concern, you know, like when I move to a new country by myself, what's the challenges, how I can overcome it and stuff like that. So share with us like few.
You know by now that I'm very adventurous as a person, so I didn't really overthink it. But I must say, the first 2 days when I was in the Emirates accommodation, I didn't want to leave the apartment because I was so afraid to get lost.
Okay.
Because I was like, I don't know where I am. I don't know if I exit to go and find the supermarket, if I'm going to be able to come back.
Where was your accommodation?
In Al Qusais.
Al Qusais?
Yeah.
Okay.
They closed it in COVID.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But back then I didn't have internet on my phone.
Is this the one closer to Deira? Al Qusais?
Yeah, and Nahda and... it's
Yeah. I know this one.
But basically I was afraid because I didn't have internet on my phone, so I cannot use Google Maps. And like for me in that neighborhood, all the buildings look the same. Like it's completely different from the buildings back home. So I was like, everything looks the same. And there is a few parks that look the same. When I'm in the bus, I can see them. And I was like, nah, I'm not leaving.
So years ago, when I was working for Kingswood over in Carlisle, we had a new girl start with us, and we went on a night out. And she actually got lost. She got separated from us on a night out. And I mean, it's literally such a small high street, like you can't get lost. And we just lived off the high street. And she ended up getting completely lost. She ended up having to stay in a hotel for the night. We had no idea where she was. And it wasn't, and she slept in. She never came to work the following day. And we were like, where's Tina? Like, where is she? And we ended up getting a phone call at work at like 2:00 in the afternoon. Like, I've just woke up in this hotel. I have no idea where I am.
My God.
And I've had to ask her. And this was before mobile phones, really. You know, no one like had a like GPS, like you say, or anything like that. So she had to get the travel lodge I think she stayed in to literally try and find the phone number for where she worked so she could get in touch with us. She could have been dead in a ditch. We had no idea.
Oh my God.
You know? Like, she's been sex trafficked.
Wow.
Where is she?
Wow. The first thing that goes to mind, you know. So your challenge is actually just to get lost.
Yeah, and a little bit of how strict the country can be, because back then, guys, not like now, the Dubai from now. Back then, you're not allowed to enter a mall if you're wearing a tank top, for example, or a crop top, or if you're wearing a skirt that is above the knee. You're not allowed. The security will stop you and be like, you need to buy something to cover up.
Okay.
Is Abu Dhabi and Sharjah still like that, though?
Abu Dhabi, no. Sharjah, yeah.
I mean,
for sure.
I was refused to go to a police station in Abu Dhabi because I was wearing shorts. They asked me to go and buy
Yeah, but you would here as well, though, I think.
But that's a police station. You can go
to
the mall in shorts.
No, we went to Abu Dhabi more than one time in shorts and stuff like that. It was absolutely fine.
Yeah, so I was always worried about how strict it can be, because Tunisia is a very open-minded country. You can find people that are covered and super religious, and you can find people that are not. And
you see, I think that's a lot of concern from British people as well coming over here. They have this idea that, you know, they literally need to put on a hijab as soon as they get off the plane, you know, and like real extreme kind of views of Dubai. And there's been a lot of instances in the news recently where British people have actually been arrested and prosecuted for drug dealing over here. Yeah. And people are like, oh, I would never go to Dubai. You know, look what happens. He's been sentenced to 40 years in prison for dealing cocaine. Well, Yes.
What do you expect?
And and these are the
You
same
don't
people that
cocaine.
complain, oh, the laws are so soft in the UK.
Yeah.
We've got all of these criminals running around. And then when a country actually says, this is the law, you know the law, and if
Yeah.
you break it, you'll be prosecuted, and they do. And people are still complaining, and it's like, we can't be pleased.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like literally you complain about people not getting put in prison in the UK,
Yeah.
and then when a country actually follows it, it's like, oh well, is it because you think we're British and we shouldn't be, prosecuted abroad? I mean,
God.
it's like it's like, come on.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I find that really interesting that people have all of these ideas. There was another instance about an American woman. She got arrested because she was trying to. It was an American lady who was given a hire car back, and she got into an argument.
Yeah.
And it was like, she needs to be released, blah, blah. And then when you actually hear of the story and what was going on, she was shouting and screaming
and insulting
swearing
them, yeah.
and assaulting. And it's like, but you can't behave like that
Yeah,
over here. And
exactly.
I love that about being here.
Yeah.
It's, it's not 100% crime free. No country ever is.
But it gives
it's
you a sense of-
99.9% crime free
Exactly,
to the
yeah.
point where you as a woman can walk anywhere in Dubai and feel safe.
At any time.
Yeah,
And
anytime.
At literally any time of the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. And so, I think there's so many ideas before you come here and people just have no clue. And there's so many people online always giving it this and giving it that. And it's like, you've never been.
Yeah.
I know that you've never been from the comments that
Yes,
you're giving,
Yes.
And I
yes.
just find Emirati people to be so welcoming and
Yeah.
kind and really generous people. Same as when I went to Egypt or, like everyone that you meet here, because we're all in the same boat.
Yeah.
We're all immigrants. We've all come here to work and
expats.
Yes,
no.
expats.
An expat is somebody who lives in the country and resides there forever. An immigrant is
No, but they call us expats.
They call us expats.
They don't call
yes.
us immigrants.
or is it the other way around? I can't remember.
Immigrants, yeah.
One
I
of
think
them's-
immigrant is the one who lives forever because you're an immigrant. You immigrated to this place, so you're gonna live in it forever.
No, I
But
think it's the
expat-
opposite. I think as an immigrant, you don't stay forever, but as an expat, you do.
No, I don't. I think
No.
it's the
Or is
other
it
way
the other way
around.
around?
No,
I
no,
think
no.
it's the other way around.
Well, anyway.
Yeah, they call us
Anyways.
expats. So yeah.
Yeah, but
I
that's
can't remember what my point was
that's
now.
one
with
thing
that,
I
but yeah.
love
Yeah.
about Dubai because imagine, for example, if I move to, let's say, Germany,
Yeah.
I will probably be one of the few Tunisians, like you would feel like you are out of your place.
Yeah.
But here, because it's so many ethnicities and religions and,
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah,
It's like a
diverse.
melting pot of like different nationalities, different
Yeah.
and then you don't
beliefs, and different
Yeah.
everything.
and
So
then
yeah.
you don't feel like you're alone. You kind
Yeah.
of belong because everyone here is welcome and everyone is different, and I like that.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that about here.
It's
of-
true.
of
Yes,
a lot.
And,
yes.
we talk about going back to the UK, and it's
Mm.
like, there's a lot of divided communities in the
Yes.
UK.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of blending. Like,
Yeah.
as like for me in the Northeast, I didn't really have many black friends or Pakistani friends or people from Africa. But it's like it was all very white, very what's the word? Not diverse. What's the opposite
Yeah.
of diverse?
I
And
don't
so
know.
yeah. And so it's like separated where
Mhm.
here you do meet so many different people with so many different stories, which is why we're here doing this podcast and inviting people on so
Yeah.
that we can get a feel for Dubai and that melting pot of
Yeah.
cultures and stories, that we're loving to tell.
Can I just add something to that? Like for me, I kind of feel like here in Dubai, when you ask where you're from, it's more of an like you're interested question to know where this person is from. You're interested in knowing where they're from. So you ask them like, oh, which food like do you have is the best, or this, like you're interested in their culture. But I feel like in other countries, when you ask where you're from, it's like, so I know how I'm going to deal with you, like how I'm going
Yeah.
to treat you,
Yeah.
So here is like, where are you from is a completely different vibe. Like,
Yeah, it's
like
true, yeah.
you don't feel like scared to say where you're from, like in
For
other
fear of
countries.
being judged or
Exactly, or
treated
judged or something
differently.
like that. But in other places I would, like, especially for me, for example, but no, like everyone loves Egypt, I think. So when I say I'm Egyptian, it's just like,
Barry
it's
thinks
interesting.
everyone loves Egypt. And
I think
Egyptians, is that
everyone
right?
does love Egypt. No, it's just like, I'm not talking
I don't
about
know.
like,
I think so.
I'm not talking about Egypt as a country, but I think when you say I'm from Egypt, people think immediately of like the pyramids and the Sphinx and stuff like that. So
no, there
they
is
think it's
another
nice.
reference. My Muhammad is different.
Hayati, that's an Emirates reference. That
Yeah. No, I think you're probably the only Egyptian I can tolerate. No, I'm joking.
I think I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you on
No,
that.
that's
so-
bad. I love my
British people
Egyptian
love
friends.
Egypt.
I love
It's
my
where we go on
Egyptian
holiday.
Yeah. And I love my Egyptian friends.
Yeah. Okay, so since we are at the very end of our podcast, we have a question that we always ask all our guests. I mean, you're the second one, but so if you have an advice for people that are looking to come to Dubai, what would that be?
I would say when you come to Dubai, don't be scared. Try to go and explore. Networking is very important because you can meet really people from different careers. Everybody's helpful. Like, for example, if I go to Tunisia and ask someone for help, or go to Europe, stop someone in the street, like people would look at you or maybe not reply to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But here you can approach people. You have that. It's so safe that people would appreciate if you come and say hello, introduce
Yeah.
yourself. People are open-minded, more flexible.
Yeah.
So you get to really meet some contacts that may change your life in the future. Or
Yeah, it's
I
so
think
true.
that for me, that's one big advice that I would give to people.
Yeah,
Great.
networking. And that's what Alex said as well, our first guest.
Yeah. So
And
this
it
really
is
is
the second
true.
time, yeah.
Yeah, it is true. The
Yeah.
amount of people that we've met on a night out or
Yeah.
through LinkedIn or even through Instagram is quite crazy.
I mean, you are the biggest example of that. Getting the gig was actually just from networking.
Yeah.
We were just out on a night and he saw the singer and he didn't like the singer. So we literally, you didn't like
You
the
can't
singer
say
that time.
that.
But you didn't like the singer. I mean, no one liked the singer. He was not right for the place. He's a good singer, but he was not right for the place. It's not like he was a bad singer.
There's lots of singers that aren't right for the places over here. The music scene over here is just dire.
So true.
I'm a bit sick of going to places and just seeing a one-man band playing a drum and a
Yeah.
guitar. It's getting a bit boring now.
Yeah. But yeah,
Hire
but,
me!
but yeah, I mean, like that night we just found the entertainment manager. We spoke to her, and literally the next week
The
you
rest
were
is
singing
history.
there for 2.5 years.
I know.
So yeah, so
Same for me. How did I get my job? Through
Yeah.
networking, through
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
true.
get the job, by the way.
I got the job and he
She
did
got
it.
the job and I didn't. But I got a better job like 2 weeks later. It's not better, but
Wasn't
anyways.
Anyway, right, thank you very much for watching season 2, episode 2. We hope you enjoyed it. And next...
This is episode 3, not season.
Is it episode 3?
Yes.
My God, time is going fast. Oh, it
Yes,
is, yes, because we did one
yes.
without a guest for the first one.
Yes, and guess what? John didn't speak about Monjaro today. We're going to the gym. We're losing weight. Yay!
Right, let's do
Wow.
that bit again.
I think we should leave that.
So that's it. That's the end of episode 3, season 2. And we've had a ball with Ghada. Thank you very much for joining us. And it's really nice to get some advice and to hear like somebody else's story about why they came to Dubai, the whole experience here, and giving some advice to people as well for who want to come to Dubai as well. So thank you very much for sharing all of your experiences with us. And we're glad that you survived that flight in Karachi.
Oh my God.
Right. We are going to finish up with a little sing-song. We're going to sing a song together.
You
And-
too. I'm not singing
No.
that.
We're going to sing a little song. Did you know the Spice Girls? We're going to sing Goodbye, My Friends. Goodbye, my friend.
I got no idea.
You don't know what the song is?
Nope.
I thought
Is
you
that
knew
what you're
Spice Girls.
talking about? I thought you guys were going to duet because you're both singer and stuff like that.
Yeah, Rad's got a really good singing voice, by the way.
Yeah.
Go on, spit on the mic.
Nope. I am really glad I survived. I
Yeah.
was scared that these two, they will expose all my deepest, darkest secrets.
Oh, no, don't worry. There is an episode 3, episode 3 part 2 where we're going to expose her. So
Yeah.
if you want to watch that,
Rada
follow
exposed.
yes, follow, subscribe, and don't forget always to like and comment if you want to see something, or like if you want to have a specific question to ask the guest. Please leave us in the comment there and we will just try to do it. And that will be it for tonight. What? Why do you always kill the flow? Why?
What? I was just looking at you. Sorry, let's do the end bit.
You
Don't
So like
know about
literally,
the-
we had to
What?
redo this. Well, there will be a season 2, episode 3, part 2, where we're gonna expose Ghada and all her deepest, darkest secrets. So if you guys would like to see that, follow, like, subscribe, and share. And please comment any question that you want to ask Ghada. If you want to expose anything, we're here for it.
No.
So,
No.
thank you so much for watching, and see you next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.